How you guys doing? It's your good old buddy Cab back again. Gear talk time. But I am feeling like poo. I'm coming down with something, and it's right before I would actually get it. Like, here's being sick, and here's where I am. I'm almost there. By the time this video goes up tomorrow, it's Wednesday right now. This is a last minute thing I have to get done. I am going to be stuck in bed. My bed is right here. I just got off work and I'm feeling this. Once this is done and it's in a render, I'm going to bed. But that's not why we're here. We're here, if you looked at the title, to talk about the planet Sera, the globe we put ourselves on for this magical journey. And the reason I'm not doing Damnation right now is because I'm extremely low on energy and my voice is really feeling it right now and I really need to cough, so... And because of that, I'm probably not going to edit this video and cut things out that I should, but I'm feeling it so bad, guys. I'm really sorry. I'm going to try to get better. I have a lot of things already done. Halloween's already in the bag and taken care of, but this is like the last thing I have to get done for the week. And I'm feeling it. The lighting isn't even that good. Normally I have outside to help, but I am feeling it, guys. It hurts a lot. But let's talk about Sera, because it's actually a very odd thing to talk about planet-wise, because by looking at it, it's pretty average, but then you get into it by our standards and how we deal with it, because in the games, they treat it like a normal thing, 26 hours in a day, 2 moons, that's just the norm. They don't really have that much to worry about. To us, double the moons is something that would freak us the holy hell out. Then you also have, 26 hours. I don't even know what would happen to our calendars and, whatever the name is where we put our clocks back, Daylight savings time, that's what it is. I have no clue. I think everyone would lose their collective minds at once. I think, you don't think it would, but think about it. Like, the days are off. You think it's Friday, but really it's a Wednesday because everything's been changed and it starts to pile up. There's no daylight saving. There's day saving time at that point. But I'm getting off track. We got to keep going with Sera. The magical world, as Teching 101 would say, check out his channel. Pretty good if you're an anime fan. Geography is everything. Thank you, Teching, for that amazing line. His, by the way, I don't know, TM, whatever, it's his, not mine. But Planet Sera, pretty much it's where everything happens. It's the location of, let's see, again, I've got my fancy notes here, but energy sucks. It's pretty much laid out as somewhat of how our planet is. There's 2 major continents as far as I can tell from it, with minor islands around, kind of like the Bahamas, and it's like the Bahamas mixed with New Zealand and a bit of Brazil in there, even though Brazil is a part of one of the major continents. So, pretty much, it's never been shown the layout of the mapping of Sera. There's never been a canonical map that says, here you go, this is what you're working with, put the pieces together where people are from and work it out in your head and create stories from there. It's never that simple. It never is. It's like Dark Souls, except with geography for gears. Things are placed in front of you, but you have to put all of it together on your own. And it's never really talked about too much except for in the books and sometimes in the games. Not a lot, but sometimes. So there are 2 things that have shown what the world could possibly look like. One of them, I'll see if I can't throw it up right here, is actually from a multiplayer map on 4 of what Sera might look like. I don't want to say that's the correct one, though, because you have to take multiplayer maps with a grain of salt with some things. For instance, if we had to take multiplayer maps for real, in Gears 1, Marcus is driving by you riding a train. If you find hidden pieces to Rom's knife, something happens. You gotta take it with salt. I don't think that's the exact look of the world. I think it's close, but I don't think it's the exact. Then you also have this map, which is pretty much the non-canonical version that was drawn by a few guys that were involved with Gears of War 2. I think they even stated you can see it in-game at one point towards the end. But it's not what the actual area of the countries would look like, if that makes sense. Like, if you blew up a map of America, if you just blew up a map of America and you were able to cut out the portions of the ocean, you just stick that on there with a portion of pretty much Canada and said, this is a map of what? I don't know. You know, that's pretty much what that map is like. It's pretty much zoomed in, I want to say, towards the Grozny side of things, but that's not what the main planet map looks like. The ocean, the Serrano, I believe the Serrano or Serrano, I think it's Serrano? Serrano. I think it's Serrano Ocean is massive. Most of the planet is water, just like Earth, but while we have the Atlantic, Pacific, and Arctic, they just have the Serrano Ocean. That's it. That's all it's being called. And there's not a lot of things that happen in the ocean in the story-wise. In the books, it is mentioned a lot, you know, about the Navy and what they do. And, you know, during Gears of War 3, the stocks and what the situation for the bottom of the ocean is like. Those kind of things are talked about, but it's not really painted well. And I'm not saying anything against Karen Travis, who wrote the books. They're very well done, but, you know, it's like if you say, you know, at the bottom of the Pacific, there's a floor. That's it. There's a floor at the bottom of the ocean. It's, you know, at the bottom, ground. That's what's pretty much painted. They do talk about depth somewhat. It is very deep in some areas, but that's about it. There's nothing much more. Right, so the topography of Sera is pretty much like Earth, except scattered in different areas. For instance, you have a desert somewhere on the planet. I don't think it's ever stated where, but it's somewhere on the planet, and that's it. There is a large, huge desert, and they never tell you where. I think it would have been fun seeing a desert area. Yeah, we got the Deadlands in 3, which was really fun, but that was caused by the hammers coming down and pretty much just leveling all of it, destroying the cities in the area, and that's what created it. It was created man-made, well, laser-made, if you know what I mean. But there is an actual desert somewhere. The Deadlands is not that desert. It was fun to go through, but I want to know how the people there lived. When we get into a video where we talk about, you know, the people of the world and the different ethnicities that are around, the different countries, I'd like to know more about the people who lived in the desert. Were they nomadic? Were they what? Were they lived in small settlements? Those are the kind of things that keep me up at night when I think about these videos. What's the next one going to be? But yeah, there's just a desert somewhere. And then there's a huge mountain range that just goes across a decent amount of the planet. Mount Kadar, I believe, is the highest point we've seen about the mountain range. But apparently it goes across a decent amount of countries. And that's, again, it talks about the people in that one. They're more of like, you know, not gatherers. They're more like herders. They're not herders. I thought I said hoarders for a second. Again, my brain's not running on much juice right now. You know, they're like herders. You know, they grow crops. That's how they, kind of like in Nepal in our world, that's the type of way they live. You also have places called the islands, the northern and southern ones, where some of the characters come from, like Ty. I believe Pad came from there. Then you also have Bernie. She's a main one that comes from the islands. You know, those are more tropical areas with a hint of New Zealand in there, because if you see Bernie, it sounds and described like she talks with either an English style accent, Australian, or a New Zealand type accent. I don't know how else to say it. It's like the Bahamas and Bahamas, New Zealand, and a bit for some reason of Brazil are all thrown into the islands. The northern ones are like more New Zealandy, and the southern islanders are more, you know, tribal. They're more, you know, rainforesty there for the topography, and that's fine. I really like it. The islands are probably my favorite area in the entire world because a lot of different cultures are nestled in there. When they talk to each other about, oh, where did you come from in the islands? I can tell by your tattoo, you must have come from here. Or if they don't have a tattoo, oh, there's a chance you're a Northern Islander. You don't have a tattoo because a facial tattoo or one on your body and tribal markings means you're from a certain tribe or area in the Southern Islands. The one Ty has on his face is from his area of the islands. I believe Pat also had a facial tattoo. I think he does. And he was from that area. He wasn't a tribal type of person like Ty was. He wasn't. He was like a mix of both what Bernie and Ty were. But, you know, him and Ty could talk to each other and be like, oh, you're from there, I'm from there. And that's the type of areas you have in Sera and Gears of War. You know, you also have plateau areas like Jacinto. That was just on like a mountainous area, and it was just plateaued on top of, I believe, bedrock or granite. It was something that the Locust couldn't dig through. Top of my head, I can't think of it. You know, but you have that kind of setting where all of these areas have their own different climates, cultures, you know, ways that they act, ways they see the planet, and it's actually really fascinating, and that's why I want to get into the cultures. And originally, actually, in these notes I have here, this video was going to be longer. I was going to go into the history that led up to pre-E-Day, and I was going over the cultures and the nationalities that are in the world. But I ain't got time for that, and I'm going to pass out within minutes probably. And I really hope I don't land anywhere that's going to hurt. But that's just, I have no words for it. It's really good world building, you know? They did in the games, and they mentioned a lot. They set up the context that here's how things operate here. And then Karen Travis with the books came in, and the comics too, and they fleshed it out amazingly. It was a very well done job. All right, finishing this off, because now I'm up to like 12 minutes, somewhere in there. This is going long. The weather. And there's only one thing I want to bring up weather-wise, because it's mostly the same. Razor hail. Razor hail. It is literally ice, as sharp as razor blades or pieces of glass, falling from the sky. And when it comes down, it slices you to ribbons. You are dead. You are not getting up. You have been turned into mincemeat on the ground. The locusts also get killed by this, and their skin is extremely thick where knives break when you stab them. It just blows my mind that it's just, to them it's a common thing. They don't act like, oh my God, this is a serious, horrible thing. So what is going on? No, they act like this is a thing that just happens just now and then. When they're talking about it in Gears of War 2, they're like, oh yeah, Razor Hail's coming down. We need to get things ready. We need to make sure we're in cover. They don't go like, what the hell's happening? People are dying around us just from ice coming at them. It's just normal. And it blows my mind that, you know, we have all these areas that are talked about and given detail, but the one thing that's never given into detail as to why it happens or why it's created or why it comes down like that is razor hail. If anyone wants to tell me if there's an actual way this happens on Earth, if there's an actual case where razor blades of ice have come down, please just tell me how in the comments. I have no clue how. That's really all I wanted to talk about for weather. There are wind flares, but since that's a newly introduced thing, and it seems like it hasn't been fully stated, but it seems like that just happened because of the events at the end of 3, and it's happened since after that up until 25 years later in 4. I think it would be more of a better place to start after I'm done talking about, you know, the planet's early history, what happened with when the locusts were around, what happened, you know, when the emulsion was going on with lambency and all that stuff, what happened when everything was gone at the end of 3, you know, what happens with the swarm now. I'd like to talk about those separately. So this is going to be like a part series. This is like part 1, you know, we'll just call it like Sera the Planet or something. I don't know. I'll think of a thumbnail and I'll think of a name or something, but, you know, I figured the planet, that's a good place to start. Yeah, I mean, you know, planet, moons, 26 days, then there's, you know, The countries, there's a decent amount that are landlocked. You know, the Navy played a key role before air technology. I mean, I don't know where else to go with it. That's about all I can talk about. Yeah, so welcome to the Planet Sera series in the Gear Talks videos. Yeah, it's a beautiful planet, and they really screwed it up, like, bad. A lot of people died, and not just because of weapons, because they fucked the planet up bad. Oops, sorry, I swore. I'm trying not to do that so that these videos appeal to all ages. So that's a no word, but I'm gonna leave it in because, again, I'm tired, and yeah, I'm gonna go pass out. So you guys have a good one. Don't mind me. I'm just I'm sulking away to a bed right now. Yep. So have a good one. I'll see you in the next one. Have a good afternoon, evening, night. This is out at 5. Love you. See you in the next one.